the Mr. Olympia competitors, the three-time champion coming back to try and make it 4 in a row, Ronnie Coleman. Nasser El Sumbati. Dexter Jackson. Marcus Rule. Sean Ray. Orville Burke. Craig Titus. Melvin Anthony. Chris Cormier. King Kamali. Claude Gruel. J.D. Duadu. Darren Charles. Gunther Schilkamp. Dennis James. Pavel Jablanicki. Mike Matarazzo. Tom Prince. Jay Cutler. Vince Taylor. And Kevin Levrone. Before we get into questions and answers, we'll just go a little bit through the schedule. Tonight at 7 p.m. at the corridor, which is one level down, will be Meet the Olympians. From 7 to 8 is the VIP ticket holders. At 8 o'clock, everyone's in there. Those of you who were here last year know it was very crowded, so we got a room about 4 times the size. All the athletes will be there. You can get autographs, buy their photos, greet them, take their pictures, whatever you'd like. The expo opens tomorrow at 9 a.m. The pre-judging for the Miss Olympia and the Fitness Olympia will go on at the expo at 10 o'clock simultaneously. The Fitness Olympia judging will take place in the South Pacific. The Miss Olympia will take place in the Islander. The finals for the Miss Olympia and Fitness Olympia are 7 p.m. in the Event Center. Muscle Beach will also go on between 9 and 5, with athletes going out there giving free seminars and training with fans from 10 till 5. And there'll be a full gym out there of about 20 to 25 pieces of equipment provided by the Flex Equipment Company. On Saturday, again, the expo opens at 9, Muscle Beach opens at 9. At 12 noon, the pre-judging at the Event Center for the Mr. Olympia. All 21 competitors will be judged 1 to 21, so everyone will be out there, everyone will be compared constantly. And then at 7 p.m., the Mr. Olympia finals, and again, all 21 competitors will do their posing routines. Posing routines will not be cut. If they got posing routines 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 minutes, they're doing their full routine. There's one change on the schedule. We're moving the cocktail party from the beach to inside because it's getting kind of chilly here at night, being 1 week later. So we're moving it inside to the Trade Winds Ballroom. So those of you who have VIP tickets, the cocktail party on Friday night is being moved inside, so it'll be a little more comfortable. With that, if you have any questions, let's start the press conference.
Yeah, I have a question for Craig Titus. Craig, coming into the show, there's been a lot of stuff back and forth with King Kamali. I want you to comment on that, and also just talk a little bit about your work with Dorian Yates in terms of the kind of impact that's had on your physique.
Let's see. King Kamali. Don't like him. Not at all. He's a very disrespectful man. He's got a big mouth. And he shows no respect to the veterans, as well myself. I don't have the luxury like Sean Ray does to ignore him, because Sean, being 13 years, top 5 in the Olympia, he can ignore fools like that.
Yeah!
Myself, I use it as a tool to market and use promotion, get my name out there even more. So if I had beaten him, I probably wouldn't even acknowledge him. Now, as far as Dorian Yates go, that's the best thing I've ever done. I could never figure out why my waistline wouldn't go down to where it was in the 96 USA. And after hiring Dorian, now it's finally back down to what it used to be. So it's the best thing I've ever done.
I have a question for Wayne. With you guys, the IFBB banning the use of Synthroid, how do you plan on enforcing that for the contest?
Quite honestly, the problem we're having is that the lab is having a tough time coming up with a test to recognize synthroid in the urine.
Wait.
They thought they had a test, they didn't. So the judges will be instructed that if the muscle looks unnatural, and you can see synthroid under lights, they'll be instructed to vote the athlete down.
Wayne, can I acknowledge that? I talked to a physician and ultrasound does show it. So if ultrasound testing is brought in, it will show synthol in the muscle.
Yeah, but it's hard for us to do ultrasound tests in the contest. That's a problem.
Okay, over here.
King, I think the trash talk is awesome. I love it. How do you feel about his comment?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that you just cannot imagine how this is just a dream come true for me. I've been dreaming about this for such a long time, and it is absolutely amazing to be sitting up here with these gentlemen and these ladies. It's just, I'm speechless. So please give everybody here a round of applause, because everyone here deserves it. As far as Titus goes, he's gone way beyond to ruin what I've worked so hard for this year. He's used every tactic known to mankind to destroy whatever I've worked hard to get, and this and that, and the synthol comments and what have you. It's just, I beat him twice, and I'll beat him again and again and again.
Man, who you trying to fool? Acting like you don't say nothing up here. Like I'm the one trying to ruin. Go on flexonline.com. Remember, I'm distended and bald. You remember that? Who are you trying to fool? Don't come up here acting like you're some classy individual now. You got a big mouth. Period. And I'm not the one. I'm telling you that right now, I'm not the one.
Like I was saying, I'm in the best shape of my life. Again, thanks to my family support, my father, my mother, everybody, my grandparents, everybody who support me. Thanks to Chad, we put on 7 extra pounds of muscle since the Arnold Classic, and I'm about 10% sharper. And I guarantee you one thing, I will give it all I got Saturday, and the only thing that I can guarantee is I'll blow the roof off the joint with my posing routine. So.
Let's get ready to rumble!
One more question to Vince Taylor. I know it has nothing to do with bodybuilding, but how do you feel about cats? No comment?
That's low, Deshae, that's low. No, that's a secret little thing between Deshae and I. She's a good friend of mine. I tore a tendon in my ankle about 3 months ago chasing a cat that kept crapping in my yard. And I told her about it, so she's been riding me about it ever since. So she's trying to send me some cat nibble for dieting, so I appreciate you.
Okay, we got a question over here.
Yes, this question is for Kevin in the room. We've been hearing so much about this new record deal and musical full-blown modern rock, alternative rock, and we just want to know what your plans are for the future as far as this modern rock.
Okay, the record executives and president and vice president of AM and FM Entertainments, which is a label that Full Blown signed with about 2 months ago, those guys are here. And if the press or anyone has any questions as far as how they're going to go about the promotion of the product of the CD, I guess, they'll be available to answer any of those questions. It's a great opportunity that the record company gave to Full Blown to go mainstream, MTV all over the world, just like all the other major labels and the major record people do. And that's our full intention, is to be worldwide, not only in the United States, but also in Europe. And we have an opportunity to do it. We're going to take advantage of it. And hopefully everyone will be behind us. And actually, to the night of the contest, I'll be closing off some music it's coming off of our CD, Full Blown. So thanks for your question.
want to say congratulations for being up there, and you're my first friend to actually go out and get a pro card and make it on stage. It's the first time I'll know someone up there instead of seeing people I know up there. So congratulations to you, and maybe when you're up there you'll hit a pose for Gil, because I know he's going to be looking down cheering for you.
Thanks, man.
Wayne, this is to you. Vince Taylor is a great champion. He holds numerous titles. As a matter of fact, he has the most. He keeps on winning the Masters Olympia. I just got my pro card for the Masters Olympia. If I beat him, which I'm going to, does that qualify me for the Olympia? And why not?
Well, you don't have to ask why not. If you win the Masters, it qualifies you for the Olympia, but let's see you beat Vince.
Yes, I've got a question for Ronnie Coleman, defending champion. Ronnie, hey. Over here, tough guy. My name's Sean Allen, and I just want to let all you guys know. And next year when I'm up here, we got a different story, but past that. Ronnie, who do you view as your biggest competition this weekend? And you're looking pretty lean and mean yourself there, big guy. What are you weighing?
Well, first of all, let me give, since nobody else did it, let me give praises to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for giving us all his faith. On September 11th of this year, there was a very tragic event that a lot of people didn't make it to their destinations. Okay, now to your question. As far as the competition goes, I think everybody is competition. Everybody's competition, basically. Everybody is here to win this show. Nobody here to get second or third or fourth or fifth. So the competition, I mean,
I'm here to play top 10, bro.
In 1997, I placed ninth. In 1998, I won. So in 1998, I don't think nobody thought I would be competition, because the year before that, I was ninth. So I really view everybody as a competitor, as being competitive against me. When I'm getting ready and doing my preparation, I'm just thinking basically about myself, because I know if I get myself ready, I don't have to worry about anybody else. And but the show is going to be good, and the competition is going to be good. It's going to be a good show. So we'll see Saturday who wins. I make no predictions.
Got a question here from Ken Jones.
First of all, I would like to say to Sean Ray and all the other competitors, I'm glad to see Sean Ray here, because he's a class act by himself. Second of all, I've been competing since 1980, and I compete with these gentlemen up there. I want to congratulate Ronnie and all the other bodybuilders up there. They know who they are. First of all, I have to agree with Craig Titus about King Kamali, with his wise remarks and the big mouth that he has. I always, as a bodybuilder, always respected people that kept them, whenever they had a problem with somebody, they kept it to themselves. But King Kamali always has wise remarks. He talks about this one, talks about that one. I just want him to understand one thing. There's several bodybuilders up on that stage with you. When you're long gone and forgotten about, they'll still be there, just like me. I saw guys like you come and go so many years since I've been in this field, I can't tell you. Take it easy, buddy.
Thank you for that editorial, Ken Jones. Does anybody else have any comments?
I'd like to go ahead and say first to all the competitors, I'll be competing against you shortly. And I'm gunning for all of you. Especially you ladies. I'm beefing up right now. Actually, my question's for Marcus Rule. At your size in the off-season, how much do you chafe?
I don't make it in off-season.
How much? I noticed even your ankles rub when you're, what, 320, 340 in the off-season?
Maybe when I have no gas posing, it's like the same weight, yeah. 340, 345.
Thank you.
Okay. But not today.
First, I'd like to congratulate you all for the competitors who are here today. And foremost, I'd like to say congratulations for JD Dewadu. Seen you many years over the time, your dedication, your commitment, and for all the guys that have travelled, you'd like to say thank you, yeah, for bringing us here, and also I'd like to come to see you up against the big boys. But first and foremost, I'd like to say to you, how do you feel at this present time, and how are you going to take these guys out?
First of all, I want to say thanks for that sort of speech, and obviously it's money well spent on my part. Obviously, I consider it an honour to be here, and a privilege. That doesn't mean to say I'm looking to be taking any prisoners when I'm on stage. I think I'm in my best ever shape, and I think there's definitely going to be some fireworks, as the crowd has already seen, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Probably some of us are going to probably have to have boxing gloves on instead of posing trunks. Thanks a lot.
I have a question concerning the judging. And I look at this room, who were the judges last year, and will those same people be judging the Olympia this year? And the second part of my question is, would it be possible if the athletes who compete have an opportunity to put, say, 50 or 60 people in a hat and have an opportunity to have a say in who will judge them in the next competition in the Olympia?
Well, let me answer that question. I don't know where Jim Mannion is at now. Right now, he's the head of judging. But first off, I don't know of any other sport, they're putting the names in the hat for the World Series. They're putting their names in the hat for the Super Bowl for referees. They don't. Secondly, the judging panel changes a certain percentage every year. There's 53 professional judges. We have 22 of them here. Different judges will judge different events. We try to make it as fair as possible. To go over how this thing is judged, the Mr. Olympia, there's 12 judges. The computer selects the alternate judge randomly every round. So every round, a different judge is the alternate judge, taken out at random by the computer, by a program, not by humans. Then out of the 11 scores that are left, 3 highs and 3 lows are eliminated. So out of 12 judges, only 5 scores count. You're getting the middle of everything. In this method, mathematically, to fix a contest, you'd have to buy off 9 judges. So if you want to buy off 9 judges, I don't think there's enough money that we're giving away to buy off 9 judges. Then do you think 9 judges can keep their mouths shut that it's being fixed? So the people that think that this event is fixed, set up, whatever, forget it. It's not. The people that judge this event do not care who wins. All they care about is who they feel, their opinion, who the best athlete is on stage that day. I can't ask any more from a judge than that. Now, we're all going to have differences of opinion because this is a sport of opinion. There could be 2 guys on stage. Gunther and I can judge it. He'll see it 1-2, I'll see it 2-1. It's opinion. That's what makes our sport unique. There's always going to be controversy with judging. It's part of our sport. We could just try to make it as fair as possible. We can't go out on the street and get people off the street to judge. People that judge these events are either former athletes, and most of the judges, 90% of the judges have competed. Or they've gone through the amateur ranks from judging amateur shows to national amateur shows, international amateur shows, test judging as a pro, judging as a pro before they're selected to judge the Olympia. We're trying to do it as fair as possible, but You know, having the athletes select the judges, that's not done in any other sport.
I do have one question. I want to, Jay Cutler. We are from Raleigh, so much, a couple guys here from Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're familiar with ISS research, and know that you've come over, I guess, from Leader to ISS, and I just wanted to hear what you have to say, on the ISS products. Maybe Pro M3. I know you've maybe been using that in your conditioning. Just any comments on that?
Thank you very much for coming out. Yeah, I made the switch last year from Leader to ISS. So far, it's been a very good change for me, and I've had the opportunity there at ISS to help in formulating some new products, which you mentioned, like the Pro M3, which was released this year, and I used in the off season, which I brought my body weight up at the leanest. I've been at 300 pounds, and right now I used it basically 3 times a day for the contest. So it was something that I formulated in conjunction with the chemists that work in the product. So it's a very good opportunity for me. I'm extremely happy, and nothing against Weider, or it's just a business opportunity for me, and that's what I've always done in bodybuilding is try to further my options and try to build a better lifestyle for myself, and that's how I feel that the switch was better for me. So that's it.
This question is for Wayne again, getting back to the judging. I know you made the comparison to professional sports, that they don't use a hat raffle, but the referees are also accountable for what they do by everyone that sees it. Now in the IFBB, are the judges held accountable? Can the athletes look at their score sheets and see what judge placed them where? I know in the NPC, as an athlete, I'm able to look and see what judges place me where, so I can, go up and ask judges.
Yes, they can. All they got to do is ask me. I'll send them out the breakdown sheet.
Thank you.
Yes, my question is...
Hold on a second. Did you say no or yes to that question? We can look at the total score from the judges.
No, Sean, you can ask me for the breakdown sheet and you'll get a fax to you.
I've been on this stage for 14 years, competing with Mr. Olympia. Get me started. If he can produce a sheet of paper from last year's Olympia that has the individual scores that any athlete that was in last year's Mr. Olympia has seen, it'd be the first time I've seen it. And it is also the first time I'm hearing that we can actually see the individual scores from the judges, because the paper that we are handed out, and actually the general public gets as well, is only the total score. There is no individual judges with their names next to their scores that any of the athletes have seen. And you can go down this list and ask the athletes if they've seen it, because I haven't. As a matter of fact, the last time that was implemented, 1 or 2 of the athletes got out of control and tried to attack 1 or 2 of the judges. And the judges decided at that point that they would not put their individual names to their individual scores to protect their well-being. Now I can understand that. And since that time, which I believe was 1988 or 1989, somewhere in there, I've been in 11 Mr. Olympias. And I've yet to see that type of a format ever since. And this is the first time I'm hearing that we can actually go to Wayne D'Amelia and get that piece of paper, because it's never been offered. So it's hard for us as athletes to ask for something that we don't know that we have access to. That being said, I don't think that we should have to go to the IFBB president to get a piece of paper that he already has to find out the individual scores from the judges. I mean, we're all grown men. I'm 36 years old, and I think the youngest guy is about 28. Bodybuilding has changed over the years, and so have the attitudes of the athletes, and so has the prize money. And if you have 1 or 2 loose screws out there that try to attack a judge, you shouldn't penalize all the athletes because of it. This is part of why we're being held back as a sport. And to make the comparison to referees in the NFL or in the NBA as compared to bodybuilding as a sport, we know that's not true. There is no comparison to the NFL or the NBA. Otherwise, we'd be on TV on Saturday night. That being said, if we're going to change anything, this is the farm. This is the farm. And if I'm shooting myself in the foot, my physique will back it up come Saturday night. So not worried about that. This is why we have a press conference, because all of you guys complain when it's all over and done, and Ronnie's got the trophy and he's gone. And I don't like hearing it. I'm tired of hearing it. This is the forum because your input changes things. And if we hear it loud and clear and stop sitting there and being afraid to ask that question, Wayne's here for this reason. We're here for this reason. You know, to ask the question, what did we do differently last year compared to this year? Wait till you see us and you'll see what we did different. Let's get some stuff out on the table that we can change the sport so that next year's Olympia is better than this one. And we didn't do that last year. We haven't made any progress. There's nothing changing with the judges. Yeah, we have 22 judges that are in rotation. But nobody's asked the question, out of those 22 judges, how many judges judged us last year that will be judging us this year? That's a very important question to know. How many of those judges that judged me last year will be judging me this year? That's important to know. Whether we have 58 judges, 22 judges, or 12. If there's 7 of them judging me again in the consecutive year, then what have we accomplished? We haven't done anything. So those are questions that need to be asked. I mean, use your time wisely while you're here so we can make changes, so that we can increase the prize money. We have a web telecast that you can pay $10 or $25 to log on. If we have 100,000 people that log on to that at $10 a piece, that's $1 million. Our prize money's increased this year by about $25,000. There's going to be 11 guys that leave this show Saturday night with nothing in their pocket. These are issues that these kind of press conferences need to fix. What the cat did to your calf and how many pieces of bubble gum and how chafed you are. Save it for later. Let's get some stuff out here. I mean, I'm hungry, you know, and I'm frustrated because you guys are the ones that email me. You guys are the ones that say out in the lobby, what's wrong with it? I don't know what's wrong with it. These guys do. Let's get it out and talk about it. So when you come to the mic, thank your athletes and say whatever you got to say, but let's try to have some more content here so that these judges hear you, so that the IFBB official hears you, so that maybe some of that web telecast money trickles down to the athletes that are putting it on for these people in Australia, Germany, Japan. $1 million is a lot of money. $102,000 may be a lot of money to the postman, but we do this 365 days a year, and that prize money for that champion's been the same for 10 years. I mean, somebody needs to address it. Ronnie's not going to complain. He gets the check every year. So who are you going to hear from? You're going to hear from me.
Yeah, you're going to hear from another judge.
And as well, the judges will have their say. The judges can have their say, but the problem that we have is that when somebody stands up in the audience to address the judges and address the judging issues, it's an open and shut place. Nobody follows it up. Wayne sat there and said that the athletes have access to a piece of paper with the individual scores. I saw that paper like 2 years of my 13, 14-year career. If that's true, come Saturday night, the paper I get hopefully will not have the judges' totals. It will have every individual judge that judged the scores in each round that they judged it, so that we get the final product, the one that they had when they judged, not the one that has no scores next to their names. I don't understand what the problem is with that, but I certainly shouldn't have to go and make a special trip to Wayne DeMillia's room to get that piece of paper. It should be with all the rest of the stuff that everybody else has. What are we hiding? So let's turn the lights on and get it out there so that every athlete got their same opportunity, equal opportunity.
Okay, Sean, you're going to hear from a judge.
Hold on 1 second.
From an
I'm
IFBB
almost
judge.
finished. This is the problem I have, is that the individual judges take my comments personal.
No, this is not personal. This is not personal. I'm giving you the facts, Sean.
I know.
I just want to give you the facts.
Can I finish?
And everybody else the facts, too.
Can I finish? I mean, I got the mic. I'm in the show. It affects my career.
Yeah, but you're going to take like an hour.
That's why we haven't moved forward, because you want to open and shut discussion. I mean, you emailed me, Deshay. You've called me and we talked on the phone.
Yeah,
You've
that's why it's nothing personal.
I know.
That's why it's nothing personal. That's
Can
why
I
I want to
finish my
explain to
statement
you.
and let the other athletes get on with this? You guys want to hear Deshay talk?
Sean, first of all, would it make a difference in the score if you knew who placed you, whatever? Would it make a difference?
I'm an athlete. I'd like to know.
Okay, but would it make a difference?
After 13
it
Mr.
would?
Olympia, after 13 Mr. Olympias.
Okay, so you're telling me Sean Ray's going to come after me with a gun and
I don't even know you.
change my score?
I don't even know you that
No,
way,
no.
Shay. You've never even judged me. Okay?
I know, because this is the first Olympia that I've judged. So you're saying that everybody, that you've got the same judges at
Hold on a second.
Olympia,
Hold on
and
a
that's
second.
not true.
I did not say that to Shay. Listen to what I'm saying. This is my 13th Olympia. This is your first. You've never judged me.
That's right, but I've been in this sport for 20 years. I've been in this sport for 20 years, okay? I've been a competitor, NPC chairman,
There's people in this room that have been in this sport longer than you.
and I've judged the Arnold twice, so I do have
Okay, you're
credentials,
qualified to judge
okay?
Mr. Olympia. Even though you've never been on the Mr. Olympia stage.
That's right.
Let me speak from experience.
That's right.
Because the grievance I have to Shay, I'm not speaking for Sean Ray. If I get first or if I get last, I still make mine. I'm speaking for people that are going to be coming up behind me, like the King Kamalis and the Craig Tituses and the Melvin Anthonys that have to deal with this. If we can nip it in the bud right now at a press conference, maybe we'll open some doors for next year's. Now, all I'm trying to say, my point is this. You're saying, what does it matter? To the athletes, take a survey and ask them what it matters. It may not matter to you, but it matters to the athletes for peace of mind, number one. Number two, when a judge tells you that they had you in second, and you wind up in fourth or whatever, at least you can't, you're not being told one thing and something else is being written down. This is really one of the few sports. This is one of the few sports that still uses pencils. Okay, we're in the computer age. I'm
Can I ask
quite
you a
sure there's a
question?
lot of progress with Sean.
Do you go to the judges and ask them what you
I
can
don't need to do
improve
that.
on?
I don't need to do that, Deshay. I
Okay,
don't.
so why don't you do that? Because that's what we're here for.
Listen,
we're here to better yourself because you come in the same every year. You don't
That's your
change.
opinion, and this is
You
your
don't
first
change.
Mr. Olympia that you're judging. Whether I change
Yeah, but
or
I've
not,
judged the
Deshay.
Arnold twice. I've judged the Iron Man. I've got 20 years of
Okay,
experience.
can I say something real quick?
I don't understand your
Can I say something real quick? It has to be
You're
a problem
saying I don't
somewhere.
have experience, and I do.
It has to be a
Wayne
problem
DeMille would not
somewhere.
have me judging.
It has to be a problem somewhere when all the fans are booing. We put on the show, we die, we do what we have to do, okay? There's a problem every time something's announced. Everybody's booing. The people aren't stupid.
Yeah, but
Are you?
Kevin, I'm not saying, I would
There's
be
a problem
glad to
somewhere,
have
correct?
everybody look at what I scored. I don't have a problem with that.
The only thing
But
is-
Sean Ray doesn't understand that he thinks there's other judges year after year, when there's not.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the Mr. Olympia, you know? There's never been a Mr. Olympia that has been beat. Why?
Because Ronnie Coleman
One time,
happens to
Kevin,
be the
Smyrna
best.
Newton,
You know what I mean? That's all. I mean, it's just that we have certain answers that we need answered.
On
You know,
that
we have
day.
questions that we need answered. That's it, you know?
Then if that's
And we're
what
not trying
here
to come
for,
down on any
question
judge or
us.
anything, but
Nobody comes and questions us. Nobody comes up and says, hey, why did you place me second? I can say, look,
because
you know,
at this
this
point,
is
if
this,
the
this is
athletes
that.
speak up, we're afraid we're going to be punished. Certain people are afraid
No,
they're going to be
that
punished because
doesn't
of the way they...
happen.
I'd like to say something about the judging
That
myself.
doesn't happen. That doesn't happen on a state level or a national level.
Hello,
If anybody
Shay.
would bother to come and see
All
one.
I'm saying is there's a problem somewhere when there's booing going on with the overall decision. It happened last year. It happens all the time.
To the people here in Vegas, the only reason I'm even getting involved in this issue is because Sean did mention my name. And yes, there probably is a slight chance that I will go home with no money in my pocket. Okay, but I accept that. This is my first Olympia. I turned pro in '96 and I didn't start competing until '98. Since I've been on the pro stage, I myself have been judged fairly. Until the day it comes where I think I haven't been judged fairly, I remain in a neutral position. I have been judged fairly as an athlete myself. Sean has
Hey,
been.
Craig. Pipe it down, baby. It's Paul Dillon. Listen, man, we've been trained partners. You tell me many a time that you feel that you've been judged unfairly.
Yeah, until I see the tape, Paul.
I'm here
Until
to-
I see the tape.
That's all I'm trying to do is judge everybody fairly. And I welcome everybody to
But
look
Sean
at the
has a lot
sheets
more vast
because it
experience
doesn't
than I do,
scare me.
so.
It really doesn't scare me.
Right now, I'm here
So
back.
I
I'm here
don't
back
really
with Sean
care.
Ray. I'm
And
here
that's what
back
I'm
with
trying to
Kevin LeBron.
convey
All
to
my
Sean.
competitors on stage. You need to be This ain't about them. This is about us.
Thank you,
I'm here to say that 1997, Mr. Olympia was held on Friday and Saturday. Paul Dorian Yates, National Body, was in 3rd place until Saturday night. I was announced 4th place on stage. What, 2 hours later, I heard I was 5th. Now, how do you explain this to me? Well, what kind of judges do we have? They can't count?
Paul, hold on a second. You're right, this is about us, and it's not really about Deshay and me. She may think I haven't changed in 12 years, and unfortunately she's going to judge me tomorrow, and I'm going to have to prove her wrong. But I don't attack the judges individually. I haven't mentioned one single name. My whole complaint has been to make it more palatable for all the athletes. If we knew we were being judged by 12 totally different judges every year, of course we couldn't complain about the outcome because we would think it's more fair. As it stands, we're not, and the lack of rotation is what's got us all frustrated. And the booing from the audience, the judges go home, the athletes have to hear it no matter where we go around the world about what's wrong with the judges. If there was nothing wrong with the judging system, not the judges, the system, obviously the people wouldn't be talking about it more and more on the internet, booing, paying $600, feeling like they got ripped off, changing decisions after the contest is over, and then you want accountability. The accountability comes from signing the score sheet with your name next to the score. That kills a whole lot of debate between the athletes. What good does it do to Shay? It gives us peace of mind after training 5 months on a low-carb diet, doing cardio 2 to 4 hours a day, finding out friendships, breaking out relationships, and doing our job. At the end of the day, if I can see that the judges also did their job, there's a little bit more accountability there. Now, I haven't asked for one judge's name to be thrown out. I haven't asked for one judge's job to be taken. But certainly, it is 2001, and I'm still being judged by the same people. There are enough people out there, whether the IFBB's got to recruit new judges, we need new opinions to get new looks in bodybuilding. We are not going to continue with this trend and expect to attract more and more people. Sure, we got 22 guys qualified for the Mr. Olympia, which is one of the biggest contests. But take a survey and find out how many people are aspiring to become professional bodybuilders under the current system of rewarding these guys. I mean, the guys are just not as enthusiastic about it because they can't be 300 pounds and think that they can make a living when they're only 5'7", 210. I'm one of the fortunate few. And I do hold the flag for a lot of the smaller bodybuilders, but when I have a judge tell me to my face the night before she judges me, you haven't changed in 12 years, and she's gonna turn around and judge me, how do you think I take that? If anything comes out of this press conference or this meeting, the IFBB and the judges will take a long, hard look at what needs to be fixed. Because right now, the athletes aren't complaining so much about the prize money, even though there's going to be another probably $1 million thrown into the kitty, but it's not going to trickle to us. We're not complaining about that yet, until you got 100,000 people paying $25 and it's 25 million. You haven't heard us complain about that yet, but the one thing that we will complain about, and before I'm done with this sport in terms of making a change or at least having some kind of influence for the people coming up behind me, because there's nothing to shade that the judges can do to me that they haven't already done. I'm ready for this contest. At the end of the day, the athletes want some accountability. They want to see a score sheet with the individual judge's name on it, not a total. And they like to have a fresh panel of judges. Not a 4 or 5 rotation where you throw out the 2 highs and the 2 lows. Or at least involve us. You're saying that we can't be involved in the judging procedure. Well, right now we're hitting each other's heads. We're clashing with Wayne, we're clashing with Jim. We got bodybuilders like Flex Wheeler retiring. We got Kevin Levrone frustrated as hell. They're all starting to catch up with what I have to deal with every year, and I'm still here. Eventually, we'll have a voice of one, where we're all going to be winding up going up against the judges, and we don't want that. We want what's best for bodybuilding. And right now, if we can work together through this kind of dialogue and take some of this frustration and turn it into some kind of new judging procedure or new judging accountability, then we all make progress. To show you won't have me bitching and moaning and complaining about the judging, which is all I ever do, but at least you guys are doing something to change it and we can see it happen. These guys are paying $600 for a ticket and flying in on another $500 in a hotel. That's $1,000 to see the Mr. Olympia contest, and they go home pissed and they're booing and Kevin doesn't want to compete. And we got to answer all the questions. The IFBB can fix it all by starting at the top. And it starts with the judges and the judging process.
Like Sean said, a press conference is about making change. This is the first time that we ever dug this deep into a problem that we had, and we're discussing it out to the public. And I think that this is the first step towards a new change for bodybuilding. The kids coming up behind us, I mean, we have to make a stand for those guys. And I dedicate my career and my places and everything to put everything I have on the line to make a change, whoever's coming up behind me, to make a difference for everyone that's buying a ticket so that they get their money's worth. For every athlete that's training so that he knows he has a fair chance and an opportunity to win something that he trained and died so hard for. And that's why I'm here, and I hope that Kevin Leveroni goes down in the sport of the IFBB, because I've won every competition in the world more than once. Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Russia, Hungary, Holland, you name it. The IFBB, I mean, I've been to the Arnold Classic, won that twice. I've won the Night of Champions. I've competed in Olympia 10 times, never won. 4th time, 2nd place. And I'm not here this weekend to walk out on stage. I'm not going to give up, I'm going to fight. But the things that you hear is the show's already locked down. You know who's going to get it. I don't train for 2nd place. I don't think any of these other guys do. And that's why we're standing up.
We gotta do our TV interviews.
Wayne, I had something to say.
Right.
We don't live in a perfect society. Nothing's never going to be perfect. From day one, we've been battling over this and battling over that. Nobody's ever liked everything somebody else has ever liked. I don't like ice cream. Bob don't like ice cream. Susie does. I don't like apples, and John don't like oranges. I don't like oranges either. It's always going to be a problem. In 1992, I didn't place at all in the Olympia. Didn't get a dime, didn't get $1. I didn't complain. 1994, I didn't complain when I got 15th. 1995, I didn't complain when I got 11th. 1996, I didn't complain when I got 6th. 1997, I didn't complain when I got 9th. The moral to the story is, why complain? Everybody wants to win, everybody wants to be the best. There can always only be one. Mr. Olympia always wins Mr. Olympia because he's the best. If y'all want to do something different, if y'all don't like the sport you're competing in, you got a problem with it, don't compete. I didn't complain, I didn't cry, I didn't get mad.
Talk to the fans about the tickets and they're all
I just kept doing what I kept doing, and I got better at what I kept doing, and I beat y'all. That's why I beat y'all. And as far as booing goes, I haven't been to a show yet where there was an announcement and somebody didn't boo. They didn't like the apples. They didn't like the oranges. They like what they like. That's why they booed. So complaining, just keep on complaining. Maybe you'll find out, like the little kid, that complaining ain't gonna really get you nowhere. But where you are now, in 2nd place.
And I won't get booed Saturday like you will.
All I gotta say is, I'm 3-time Mr. Olympia. How many times have you won?
I'll tell you this, how about how many times have I whipped you in competitions? More than you beat me, brother.
You count them up.
You know what?
You count them up and you tell me
More
about it.
than you beat me, baby.
Kevin.
You count them up and you tell me about it.
Hey,
Maybe
Kevin.
about
Kevin.
9 times.
When was the last time you beat me?
Hey, Kevin.
What have you done for me lately?
Hey, Kevin.
What have you done to me lately? I'm not living in the past. I'm trying to get better. My physique on stage on Saturday night will be better than it's ever been.
That's exactly.
I'm not competing in 1997.
What Ronnie's saying.
This is 2001, baby.
Ronnie.
It's 2001.
What you're saying.
Who won that 1997?
Right now. Don't
I
stick me
suggest you
now.
go back in time to
Don't pat me down.
1997.
Hey,
You
Ronnie.
beat me.
Mr. Olympia.
Can I get a question
to the
in?
stage.
I'm just a fan.
Hey,
I just
Ronnie.
paid my ticket. Can I get a question in real quick?
Ronnie, it's an orange here, I'm talking to you. Or an apple, whatever you want to call me, apple orange. This is exactly what's wrong with bodybuilding. This ain't about you. This judging shit is not about you, bro. You are Mr. Olympia. You don't have to defend the fact that you won the contest. You're not complaining with $110,000 in your pocket.
I am.
There's going to be 11.
No, I don't complain.
There's going to be 11 guys. Ronnie, there's going to be 11 guys that are going to walk away with nothing. It's 2001.
Sean,
I just got through telling you.
I walked away with nothing. I didn't complain.
These guys are professional athletes that don't make the kind of money that you make. And for years, just listen, for years, you didn't make any money either. Luckily now, you're in a position that you are. We're trying to make it possible so that everybody
did what I
makes
had to
money.
do to get where I am. I mean, this was given to me. I worked my butt off to get where I am.
Everybody that's
I worked
here-
extremely hard each and every single day.
Ronnie, you started your conversation off by saying everybody that's here is a competitor. So that means everybody worked their ass off, right?
Yeah.
Our point here today, Ronnie, is not to fight with you and have you fight with Kevin over first and second. It's not even about the Mr. Olympia, who's better than who. We're all up here. We all earn the right to be here. And I know you know what losing's like. I know you didn't complain.
Do you guys have time for a fans question real quick?
I know you didn't complain, but we're not here to fight amongst each other, Ronnie. We're just trying to point out some things that are wrong with it, because you're going to be gone soon. I'll be gone soon. Kevin will be gone soon.
It all
Hopefully
seems
it'll
to
be
come
better
back
for
to
them.
me that just because I'm Mr. Olympia and I've won 3 times in a row, that something's wrong with the judges.
You're taking it personal.
How can there be something wrong with y'all's bodies?
You're taking it personal. You're taking it wrong.
Mr. Demia, I think this might help everybody. First of all, kudos to all of you athletes. I think we're all inspired by the condition that you guys bring every year. So whether you're bigger or smaller, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you all look great. But I was just wondering, since the bar's been raised on national amateur level competition to super heavyweight, I was just wondering, I know 200 is kind of a low end for a cutoff for a heavyweight, or for Mr. Olympia, but what about a 225 cutoff or something like that? It starts spurring some of the younger, smaller guys into the mix. You guys all look great, you're all big, but I'd like to see, and this kind of goes along with what Sean's saying. And, there's only a couple guys up there that are under that 225 range, but has the IFBB considered anything along those lines, or, to spur the future of the sport?
There used to be weight classes for 2 years back in the mid-70s. Now let's say we put in weight divisions, okay, in the Mr. Olympia, which is what most people come to see.
Wayne,
okay?
Wayne, can I answer that? You want to answer? Yeah. Actually, I am one of the guys that it's my first time here. I'm glad to be here. I'm actually one of those guys that's 230. I don't want to compete with a guy that's 230. I want to go head up with Ronnie. I don't want to be in no section. Mr. Olympia is about being the best. Being in sections, you can't be the best. You can be the best for that class. That's it. I'm not here for that. Next thing you know, it's going to be height classes, 5'3" and under. That's not what it's about.
Wait, if I can just jump in. I'm also representing athletes, and I want to actually use this opportunity to agree with Sean, Kevin, and other guys about this complaint about judges. This is a press conference. Why do we have just athletes? Why don't we have judges here? Why we can ask judges the same questions? This is something that I was insisting since 1997. You said it's a matter of opinion. There are many visual sports. Even boxing could be a visual sport, right? We have a Holyfield and Lewis. It was a draw, and judge was questioned on the HBO for a while. You have to have judges that stand behind their opinion. Those judging score sheets, like Sean said, only in 1997 we have every individual judge presenting how he judged each round. Since then, there was never again. If judge can be actually qualified to judge, he should stand behind his opinion, and it should be published. All the press here can ask them a question. Right now, if you're asking Kevin, do you think you deserve to beat Ronnie last year? His opinion is yes. Ronnie, nobody complained about you winning, trust me. But as a competitors, all those guys here trained 12 months, dieted so hard to have a shot at you. And they believe that same judges seeing always the same physiques. You say orange is orange and apple is apple and apple pie can be whatever. but really, who knows what judging criteria is? This is why I would like audience to question judges. What are we really looking for? If you say different divisions, Sean is 210 and 5'7" in incredible condition, standing next to Ronnie Coleman, who is 260, 270. How can you compare? Well, a qualified judge should be able to make the difference. Now, are those 53 judges really qualified? And who qualified them? You said that they were always tested in amateur shows. Who sees those score sheets? I would like to question every single judge. What are you looking for? Jim Mannion, 97 at the press conference for Olympia, said best physique of the day wins. But really, what is the best physique? Conditioning, muscle mass, symmetry, proportion, what is it? We have now Sean, who is for 13 times in top 5. You know, many people complain, how can he be there next to monsters like Ronnie? Well, he's holding on his own. Why? With the perfect conditioning and symmetry. Now we have other guys that are being prepared for the show. They don't know which direction to go. Should they match Ronnie Coleman, get as big as they can? Or should they go with the streamlined symmetry, proportion look of Sean Ray? So those kind of questions, I think, we're all wondering, but we never get an answer. I did have a chance to talk to Kevin. Kevin was very much frustrated, and I see his frustration. Yeah, Ronnie, Kevin was beating you for a while, and now you're at the top. But he would like to have that same chance to beat you in front of the judges. They are qualified. Sean says the same thing. Let's see who those judges are, and let's question them. So this is all point that maybe at the next press conference, we will have athletes, and we would also have judges. So audience can ask them, what are we looking for tomorrow or Saturday? Their fitness goals, that also still don't know what they're looking for. If it's just routine, physique, strength, flexibility, what is it? So somebody could really give us answer once and for all, so we would all know how to prepare.
Dios, I just want to know what you feed Dennis James. Because Jesus, from the Arnold Classic to Olympia, I don't know what you did to him, but he sure has changed, brother.
I took oranges from Ronnie and gave it to him.
All right, we got to end this press conference. Let me just say a couple of things. One, 100,000 people don't watch that webcast. Last year we did it for free. Less than 7,000 people came in worldwide. Actual numbers, Sean, you can check with the Weider Company. Okay, and that was for free. This year, depending on what kind of modem you have, is how much you pay. We'll see how many people log on there. So it's not $1 million or 25 million. Your math is a little off, Sean. It's 2.5 million. Would be the math correct. But anyway, we're not making $1 million. Okay? Secondly, Sean's mouth has never hurt him in a contest. Judges don't care. Sean can say what he wants. He knows I always tell him that. No problem. Third, what I will do, and this is the third time in all the years I've been involved, I've done this, and the other 2 times, again, we had problems with athletes confronting judges aggressively. I will instruct Carlo Tiani, who's doing this on computer, to set up the program, to give down a breakdown sheet to everybody. Okay? Everybody for every show. For the 3 shows this weekend. So not only they see it, you see it. Yeah. Doesn't bother me. The judges are supposed to stand behind their score. Okay?
Yeah, well, this is the last thing. Sean, all that stuff you're talking about, man, this is what it's all about. This industry here is a $1 billion industry, and it's a big industry until all these athletes can come together and understand that it's ran like pimps and hoes, and you're going to either be one or the other. And if y'all can't come together and start making some demands, it'll never change. You're going to either be a pimp or you're going to be a hoe. And that's what it's all about.
I'm a pro. Hey, Wayne,
That's what it is. Pimps and hoes.
Wayne, let me say one thing before we close this press conference down.
I ain't no hoe.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to say before we close this press conference down that I'm really happy to be here. I was here September 29th in Vegas, guest posed at the Vegas Classic. My wife and I just moved here and bought a home. We're really looking forward to performing for you guys.
Can't wait.
Okay. I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and I will take, the other thing I wanted to say is, This has been a fun press conference. I enjoyed it. And I will bring the judges here next year because it'll make more fun. So I will have the judges at the press conference next year. Thank you for coming. We'll see you at Meet the Olympians tonight. Take care.
Dennis James, what have you done to yourself? You look absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much. First of all, I mean, it's like, you know, this is the Olympia, most prestigious show in the world, so you always try to do something to let everybody know that you changed. You know, I definitely did my homework this time. After not placing in the top 10 last year, I had to go back to the Arnold's just to make sure I keep my name up there. I had a real good showing earlier this year, so I was really motivated coming into the Olympia. So first thing I thought I would change something, maybe just go back to my old look, the look that I had in '98 with the hair, and the training went really well. I would say I'm about 12 pounds heavier than I was last year at the Olympia.
Really?
I mean, absolutely, this is my all-time best condition ever.
I can see that, and I've seen a lot of you.
So I'm real focused, and I can't wait till Saturday so I can display what I worked for so hard.
Well, all of us in Australia are rooting for you, Dennis, so best of luck.
I get a lot of emails from Australia. All my Australian fans and all the people that kept emailing me, thanks a lot. I really appreciate the support. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks.
King Kamali, that was a great, fun press conference.
Yes, it was.
What do you think about it?
I think it was interesting. I think everybody had their own personal point of view, and they got it across. And I'm just so excited, and I'm just ecstatic to be here. And I'll tell you what, if you thought I was in condition at the Arnold, you're in for a rude awakening. I beat that by a mile, and I put 7 pounds of muscle on, so I'm excited.
That's very good. And it seems that the banter between you and Craig Titus, is it more than banter?
I have nothing to say about Craig. He's just enigma.
An enigma.
He's
Good.
an enigma.
Because Ronnie and Chris Cormier, they did a great article for Flex magazine this month, and that seemed to be friendly underneath.
I don't want to have anything to do with Titus ever, my entire life.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, he can do his own thing, I'll do my own thing. That's about it.
Tell us, how did you qualify for the Olympia this year?
3rd place Ironman, 4th place Arnold Classic.
Great. Well, it's good to see you here.
Absolutely.
And we're looking forward to working with you on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And good luck on Saturday night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Durham Charles, that was a great press conference. What did you think of it?
I think it was a great press conference myself. I think a lot of things came out in the open that needed to be coming out in the open, and hopefully something's good going to come out of it. Already something is. I mean, they're going to give up the judges' scoring sheets, so we'll see what happens after that.
I'm glad that Sean Ray always says his mind.
Well, you know, myself, including a lot of other people, always admire that about Sean, not just his physique, but you know, he's a class act, and he's a guy, who speaks his mind, and he's not afraid of the consequences. And I admire him for that.
That can only be good for the sport too. Yeah. How did you qualify for the Olympia this year?
Oh, I finished 3rd in the Canadian Pro Championships, probably 3 months ago. So that's why I'm here.
That's great. It was good to see you again. Because last year, forgive me, I can't remember where you placed last year.
Oh, last year I wasn't at the Mr. Olympia.
You were at the Arnold?
No, the Arnold.
Yeah, right.
The last time I did the Olympia was in '98. So, you know, it's a long time coming. I'm glad to be back.
And you feel that you've changed a lot in that time?
Oh, definitely. I've definitely improved a lot, and you know, hopefully the judge is going to see that and reward me with something worthwhile, and see what happens Saturday night.
Well, it's good to see you here, and all the very best for Saturday night. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking to us. Tom, what did you make of that press conference? I thought it was great fun.
I thought it was, you know, we need a little bit of dialogue. We need a little bit of discussion about the judges. You know, if nothing else, you know, I can't say that I agree with Sean 100%, but if for no other reason, just to be talking about it, you know, it keeps everybody on their toes, and you know, we need to take every step possible to make sure the judging is always fair. Now, I personally think the judging is fair. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but that doesn't mean we still shouldn't keep looking at it.
That's right.
Working at it.
Because the sport, if it doesn't change, it'll die, won't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and Sean does make a good point as far as, you know, if you have the same in a subjective sport, where you're looking at something subjectively. If you have the same judges looking at it, then that subjectivity never changes. You know, they're always going to have the same point of view.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to keep the fresh judges. I understand where he's coming from.
Absolutely. And how do you rate the competition for Saturday night this year?
I think there's, obviously I think Ronnie's going to do real well. I think Sean, Chris, Kevin are going to do great. After that, I think it's pretty much open. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've seen some of the guys, and some of the guys really look. I think Jake Cutler looks phenomenal. I think King Kamala is going to look phenomenal. I think that's about all I've seen so far. So I'm looking forward to it.
We've seen Dennis James traps. I've never seen such big traps in my life.
Yeah, he's a big kid. He'll do real well too.
Yeah,
he'll do real well.
Good. Well, all the very best. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
And we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Kevin Levrone, that was an amazing press conference, and we're all very glad that you spoke your mind along with other people. How do you feel that it might have changed things?
Well, you never know how something's going to change until after it's done. I think and I feel in my heart that, we said what was on our minds and we said the right thing. And like everyone, it's the way that it is, when you speak your mind and you tell the truth, then things have to change. People will respect you for that. They'll think about what you said, as long as it's not drawn out and derogatory, and it makes sense and you're speaking about how you feel on the subject, then it's okay.
Very good. And how are you feeling in relation to Saturday night? How do you rate the competition this year?
Well, as far as competing for me, it's nothing new. I'm looking forward to going out, putting on a good show for the fans.
Well, you're always very popular, and I'm sure that you will be on Saturday night.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for talking to us. We're looking forward to it, and all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. JD, what did you make of that press conference?
It was certainly entertaining, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I found it entertaining. I think there was some valid points raised. Also, I think there was a little bit of tension, sort of adds a little bit of, a little bit of spark to the whole event. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sure. Now, how did you qualify for the Olympia this year?
In Melbourne.
Right.
Over in March, yeah.
Right. And where did you place on that? Forgive me, I'm ignorant.
Fourth.
Yeah. Right. That's great. And how do you rate the competition for Saturday this year?
Obviously, it's the best athletes in the world. It's obviously I'm glad I qualified, but by the same token, it doesn't mean to say that I'm overawed by anybody here. I know it's within my potential to place very, very high.
Yes.
If I've done my homework and the judges like my physique.
Well, you've always had a very good reputation in Britain, and hopefully now the Americans will see what you're made of, and you'll be just as popular here.
Yeah, well, it seems that there seems to be now some sort of a spillover effect. My name is getting more recognition over in the States and in the rest of the world, and I feel that sort of my physique is starting to be sort of recognised more. So it's for me now, while sort of events are rolling, the momentum is rolling to make the most of it, try and improve my physique, and basically try and get higher placings.
Great. How many years has it taken you to get this far?
Showing my age now. Altogether, I think I've been training about 18 years.
Right. But you come from a family background. Your father's a lawyer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a barrister, actually.
Right. In London?
Yes, he was initially in London, but he's got a practice back in Nigeria now as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And has he always supported your bodybuilding career?
Not initially. Obviously, he was he sort of supported me doing sport, but as a career, he didn't support it initially. He wanted me to sort of try and have some sort of more substantial as a career, which is understandable. But since the events have changed, I've moved forward. My family have been giving me quite a lot of support. Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear, because it's a difficult career at the best of times.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of it's very much it fluctuates quite a lot. I find the way I keep saying is I've been privileged in the fact that I have not had to rely exclusively on bodybuilding as a living, and that gives me the sort of opportunity to stand away from it at times.
Right.
And I think that has helped me in sort of in the longevity of time that I've been in the sport, and the fact that I've been steadily improving.
Yep. Well, it's great to see you here, and we're greatly looking forward to Saturday night, and all the very best of luck for it.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thanks for talking to us.
See you later.
Cheers.
Tina Galash for GMV Productions in Australia, talking to Chris Cormier. Chris, last time I saw you, you were in the Grand Prix in Australia. What have you done to change things for yourself for the Olympia, hopefully to get first place?
Well, I brought my body weight up a little bit more in the off season, more than ever before, and at a high body weight of 290 pounds, but I still had nice shape and abs and cross striations in my quads at that weight. I've took off 20 pounds for this show from there, so right now I'm sitting at around 270.
Okay. What did you compete at in Australia?
265.
Oh, okay, so you're roughly the same weight then, yeah. So, because you really were in great shape in that contest.
Yeah, but I hope to be in better shape this time because my hamstrings and my glute area, lower back, all that stuff is a lot tighter than I was in Australia. So I'm looking forward to placing really well. If not first, and definitely no lower than second.
Yeah. Well, at least you're on your own home ground here. It's very hard to travel that distance.
Oh, but I had a great time in Australia. I'm looking
good.
forward to going back, and so hello to all the Australians, and I'm looking forward to coming back and winning that show again next year.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melvin Anthony, it's great to see you here. This is your first Olympia? No,
yes, my first one.
Because you were at the Arnold Classic, weren't you?
Yes.
And is that how you qualified for the Olympia?
No, actually I qualified at the Ironman. I placed second behind Chris Cormier. I gave him a nice run for his money. And then I went to the San Francisco and qualified again, taking third at the San Francisco. After those shows, it kind of like it got away from me. You know, it's hard to stay in shape for 5 shows.
Right.
And I did every one of them. So, you know, it was very difficult, but that was the one I qualified for. So after that, kind of, you know, slacked a bit, just a bit.
But here you are back in top condition, and we're greatly looking forward to Saturday night. Have you received any help this year?
Actually, the only help that I got was actually from my family and God and a couple of friends of mine, just that are with me, that are close friends from school and stuff like that. I did most of it on my own. The contract that I was with expired, so you know I'm freelance, so I had to do everything on my own. You know, it was like meal to meal. It's very difficult, and people don't understand how hard it is for a competitor on this level to compete. I mean, you spend $3,000-$4,000 on just food alone, not counting membership to the gym, your tanning and all this stuff, other stuff together, and it's very, very difficult for people to do. Yeah.
People remember you not only for your physique, but for your posing routines. We're going to have a different one this year?
Actually, it's going to be electrified this time. I spiced it up a little bit, and it's more lip syncing involved, and it's going to be a good one.
Well, I'm sure it will.
I'll leave like this. What was that? Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us, and all the very best of luck for Saturday night.
Thank you very much. I'll be there, ready to rumble.
Good. Thanks. Sean, that was a great press conference, and everybody respects you, I'm sure, for speaking your mind.
Thank you. I was listening to some of the questions. I've been at these press conferences, like I said, 13 years. And I thought, this is the only opportunity that not only the fans but the media have to find out what we are really passionate about. And it's also the only forum where we can maybe make some changes. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. Yep. And so I decided to go ahead and address some of those issues. Got in a verbal war with one of the female judges who was taking what I was saying personal, when in fact all I was trying to do was point out some alternatives to make it more palatable for the judges, so that they're not, for the athletes, so they're not so bitter, and always pointing at the judges, some accountability, which is what our sport's been craving from an athletic standpoint of view. And there was just some verbiage going back and forth about, why do you need accountability, Sean? Why do you want to see the score sheet, Sean? You can talk to the judges. Well, in this business, it's a business of praise and criticism. They tell you look great to your face, and they tell you how fat you were behind the curtain. They tell you we had you in first, and we wind up in 4th place. So there's a lot of that going on. I wanted some accountability. I wanted to get it on record. And that's the personal confrontations that I wind up dealing with over the years, because there's 1 or 2 judges that want to take that and internalize it like I'm criticizing them and their job. It takes a panel of judges to come up with a champion, not one judge. They throw out highs and they throw out lows. So it's a collective decision. I'm not attacking a judge, but the systematic selection of the judging process needs to be changed, as well as the consistent rotation of those opinions. They need to be fresh opinions. You wind up with fresh opinions, you might wind up with fresh champions, and no one would dispute a 210-pound bodybuilder beating Mr. Olympia at 260 pounds if you had different judges every year, because those judges have spoken. But when you have the same opinions, it's going to be very hard for a guy 210 pounds to beat 3-4-time Mr. Olympia at 260 when you have the same opinions keeping him there. So I thought, I'm going to take this opportunity to shed some light on it. I didn't want to get the athletes fighting amongst each other, because what I'm trying to do is bring us together.
Sure.
But you're always going to have one or two people that take exception to it.
That's right.
Ronnie was way off base in taking exception to what Kevin was trying to say, and what I was trying to say, and what Craig Titus was trying to say. We were all just trying to make a point that, number one, with no athlete representation, things will stay the same. And Ronnie made it crystal clear that he wants things to stay the same. And when you're getting that fat check every year, of course you want it to stay the same. But these aren't gripes that I have personal, because whatever they're going to do, they've already done regarding my physique and my career. Whether I'm second, third, fourth, or fifth, I get off that stage, I have my pizza and my beer, and I go about my business of bodybuilding, and I'm done with it. I have that luxury because of the money that I make in other areas of the field. But if there's been occasion over 4, 5, 6, 10 years where they were off by one placement here or one placement there, that one placement could be $10,000, it could be $50,000 difference. And if you take it over a 10-year period, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that I may not be entitled to because of my opinion and my beliefs. But I got the respect of every one of these athletes, not just here today, but for the consistency that I display in trying to fight for the betterment of bodybuilding, not the betterment of Sean Ray. And today we saw the disparity of our Mr. Olympia and our first runner-up and the rest of the athletes on stage. There's one guy that's comfortable and there's one guy that's happy. And unfortunately it's that way and has been that way, and he's of the belief that it should stay that way. Well, me, Kevin, Melvin Anthony, and all the other guys are saying, we've had it. It's 2001 and 2002 better be different. So we were all really fired up by the way the press conference went.
Well, you're so articulate that there's a danger that you'll be the only spokesperson for the sport, but we don't think you will. We're very much looking forward to Saturday night. Good luck, and we hope it's not your last Olympia.
Well, even if it is, because I take one show at a time. I'm 36, but I'm not old. Ronnie's older than me at 37. Orville's 38, 39. Kevin's 36. Nash is 36. We're all around the same age. When I fall out of love with what I'm doing, I'll move on. And I certainly would never walk away from something with this much experience to leave these guys to fend for themselves. I think I certainly would be back here. And if it's only one voice they're hearing from me after I get off the stage, that one voice will be speaking for all of them. Because I have that luxury with experience and also the articulation and being there to get the point across, because I've been on that stage. And that was the only sad part about the press conference, was that the one judge showed her ignorance by not understanding that we are the ones that are dieting and doing the training and the sacrificing. We need accountability. We want accountability. It's mandatory. So hopefully through this press conference and this competition, regardless of where I place or Kevin places or who wins, this is monumental in terms of taking a one step forward.
Great. Thank you, Sean, very, very much for talking to us. Great. Good luck for Saturday night.